Hi, ArcfieldWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Thursday morning, March 31st, the last day of the month of March, and it will be an active day in the eastern part of the nation with the chance for severe thunderstorms, really all the way from Florida to upstate New York. Increasing winds already setting up along the eastern seaboard, a surge in temperatures. Numerous showers will develop by the afternoon hours in most parts of the mid-Atlantic region, the northeastern U.S., certainly by the latter part of the afternoon. And again, the chance for some strong to severe thunderstorms later this afternoon all the way through the evening hours, and we'll get into some of the details over the next few minutes. Yesterday featured a lot of severe weather down across the deep south. There was just a very extended squall line in this area right here, all the way from northern Arkansas down across western Louisiana into the eastern Gulf that moved to the east slowly during the afternoon hours yesterday, and it just produced tornado warning after tornado warning along this squall line. As places like western Louisiana, this whole area was hit hard again with severe weather, a severe weather outbreak yesterday into last evening, and now a lot of the factors that were involved yesterday are shifting to the east. We have a strong cold front approaching the eastern seaboard, and again a very, very strong low-level jet, which we'll talk about in a moment here, and that will lead to the high risk of some damaging wind gusts and later on this afternoon into the evening in the eastern part of the nation. Well, one of the interesting things about this particular atmospheric pattern that's unfolding here for the east, especially for later on today and tonight, there are multiple short waves. These are areas of vorticity maxima in the upper part of the atmosphere that short waves are kind of the smaller waves that rotate around and through a larger scale upper level trough. And because there's so many different short waves here, the bottom line is we may end up with multiple bands of showers and thunderstorms right through the latter part of the evening hours. Kind of hard to pinpoint an exact timetable. I mean, the most favored timetable here for the strong to severe thunderstorms will be basically mid-afternoon for the I-95 corridor region to the latter part of the evening. But again, there can be something before that, and even after that in the overnight hours, there can be some showers and potential thunderstorms. Right starting off the day, we have kind of an area of showers up across the central part of Pennsylvania, another kind of an enhanced area across eastern West Virginia. And look at this already. We have one impressive line forming across the eastern part of Ohio, now just moving into the far western part of West Virginia. And on its heels, yet another band here starting to form here out across the central Ohio Valley. So lots of different short waves, resulting in lots of different lines of showers and thunderstorms that we'll have to deal with primarily in the afternoon and through the evening hours in the I-95 corridor region, and certainly the suburbs as well to the north and west, and to the coastal sections to the south and east. Well, let's take a look at last night's high-resolution version of the NAM model. This is the 6Z high-resolution model run. And I want to first talk about the 850 millibar, the low-level jet, because it's very impressive, and it does a couple of things here. First of all, raises the risk of damaging wind gusts, even outside of thunderstorm activity. Don't be surprised if gusts reach 50 miles per hour today, ahead of the strong line of showers and thunderstorms in the D.C., Philadelphia, New York City corridor, and all a result of this very, very strong low-level jet. It also will add to low-level shear. That's one of the concerns for later on today into tonight. We have basically wind shear is a change of wind speed and direction with height, with altitude. And with very, very high low-level wind shear expected later on today, that leads to the possibility of rotation in the atmosphere and therefore the possibility of some isolated tornadoes here. So again, very strong low-level jet right now, just a few thousand feet off the surface, and it won't take much to get those high winds down to the surface level later on today into tonight. Take a look here as we walk through on an hourly basis. Very, very strong low-level winds here throughout much of the Mid-Atlantic region, the northeast U.S. by the middle of today. And again, those winds will intensify dramatically over the next few hours, well ahead of the threat for severe thunderstorms. So don't be surprised to see wind gusts of 50 miles per hour during the midday and afternoon hours, even outside of thunderstorms. And here we go through the afternoon into the early evening. This is all the way out to 8 o'clock this evening. Still very impressive area of low-level jets extending from eastern North Carolina up across the Delmarva Peninsula, New Jersey, into the eastern part of New England. This whole area has the potential for damaging wind gusts as a result of these very, very powerful low-level winds here. Any kind of a thunderstorm during this time period can help to pull down some of those very strong winds from a few thousand feet off the surface down to ground level. And it really remains a factor into the overnight hours, especially along the eastern seaboard here from the Carolinas all the way up to New England. This is now going all the way out to past midnight, and it finally winds on down during the wee hours of the morning. And here we are now into Friday morning. Friday itself, an unsettled, windy day with additional showers. Those showers can be in the form of snow just downstream of the Great Lakes. Upstate Pennsylvania, for example, upstate New York, West Virginia can certainly have lake effect snow showers on Friday in the wake of the strong cold frontal passage. Now let's take a look at the vorticity maxima here, and again there are multiple short waves to talk about. We're kind of rotating around a larger upper level trough. One feature right here as we begin the day here on Thursday, another feature right over the heartland of the nation, and yet more energy in the upper part of the atmosphere right over the central Great Lakes, and even some spokes of energy out ahead of those main areas. And as we go through the hourly forecast maps here, they just all tend to rotate around, and what this will do is cause, as we're seeing right now on radar, multiple lines of showers and thunderstorms. So you may get hit and the rain may slacken off for a while later today, let's say, then you get hit again, then you may get hit again later on with all these waves of energy throughout the atmosphere. It extends. What it does is it really extends. It also, not only do you have several lines of showers of thunderstorms, it kind of extends the whole timetable for the threat of precipitation in the form of showers and thunderstorms all the way into the latter part of the evening, perhaps even into the overnight hours from, let's say, I-95 corridor and points to the east of there. Finally, as we get into the morning hours on Friday, this is the Friday morning forecast map. Notice kind of the larger scale upper level trough moves right overhead Friday. So Friday will remain an unsettled day, and expect lake effect snows, interior higher elevation locations from West Virginia to western Pennsylvania, upstate New York, maybe even some showers, rain showers, down into the I-95 corridor region. Still a windy day with all that energy in the upper part of the atmosphere. Finally moves out of here by tomorrow night. And tomorrow night will feature Friday night. I'm talking about going into early Saturday morning. And here we are now, Friday evening forecast map right here. Don't be surprised to see temperatures drop to near the freezing mark once again in the suburban areas to the north and west of D.C., Philadelphia, New York City. I'm talking about late Friday night into early Saturday morning. A chilly air mass follows the passage of this strong cold front. Well, let's take a look at another kind of a map here that we don't show often at all here at arcfieldweather.com. It's from the same model run, the high-resolution model run of the NAM. It's the CAPE, the Convective Available Potential Energy. And basically, you see these areas in darker blue or purple as we begin the day on Thursday. When the CAPE value increases, it basically tells you the atmosphere becomes more and more unstable. And watch what happens here in the Mid-Atlantic region as, again, we're going through in an hourly basis. Now you see kind of a purple creeping into the picture here by the middle of the day. And the legend here on the right shows increasing CAPE here in the Mid-Atlantic region as we go through the day. And here we go into the early evening hours. This is now 8 o'clock tonight. And notice kind of some of the highest CAPE values, or the most unstable part of the time period here will be all the way into the early evening across Virginia maybe the DC metro region. So definitely the threat begins maybe the mid-afternoon, but it continues all the way to 9, 10, 11 o'clock this evening along the I-95 corridor region. Here we go all the way into now even into the overnight hours. Still some very unstable conditions across the Delmarva Peninsula, southern part of New Jersey, New York City, and eastern New England. So don't be surprised if just some showers and thunderstorms that linger into the overnight hours, especially near the east coast of the U.S. Well, let's wrap up with the surface forecast maps from the high-resolution NAM model. And again, notice the nature of this precipitation here. Numerous lines forming here, again, aided in part by those multiple shortwaves in the upper part of the atmosphere. Low pressure begins the day over Michigan, and it pushes to the north and east, and that will help to lift a warm front that is currently now extending from northwest to southeast across the mid-Atlantic region. It'll continue to lift to the north over the next few hours, and expect temperatures to surge in D.C., Philadelphia, even all the way into New York City, where 70 degrees is on the table by later on today. And as we move through the next few hours, there can be occasional showers over the next few hours, but the more numerous showers hold off till later today for the I-95 corridor region. Here we are now by the middle of the day. Notice one impressive line right here cutting through West Virginia, another one right on its heels, and by the way, some cold enough air for snow, the western part of the Great Lakes by midday today. And here we go, very impressive line, followed by another line right on its heels here by late in the afternoon, approaching the DC area right at this time here. Here we are, 8 o'clock this evening. Impressive line extending from northeastern Pennsylvania, southeastern New York, all the way across south central PA into the areas just to the west of the D.C. metro region. D.C. right in this region right here. This is 8 o'clock tonight. Still the main line of potential severe thunderstorms just to the west at that time, and it slides through by 9, 10 o'clock, and this is all the way into the midnight or even shortly after midnight hours. Still impressive line here at midnight, all the way from D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, all the way into the late part of the evening, getting into the overnight hours here. Again, with those multiple spokes of energy in the upper part of the atmosphere, this kind of extends the threat, perhaps even into the overnight hours, going into the early morning on Friday. And here we are all the way into Friday morning now, 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. And notice here, lake effect snow starting to set up here just downstream of the Great Lakes here. Again, definitely a threat tomorrow for lake effect snows in West Virginia, western Pennsylvania, upstate New York. Winds will be flowing off the lakes in a northwesterly fashion, and we've kind of been through this type of pattern over the last couple of weeks here, with the colder air moving over the still relatively warm waters of the Great Lakes, causing some lake effect snows. Don't be surprised if even a few rain showers make their way on Friday into the I-95 corridor region. An unsettled day with that large-scale upper-level trough moving overhead. So a very active way to end the month of March, with the chance for severe thunderstorms in D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, and throughout the Mid-Atlantic region later today going into tonight. And there certainly will be some heavy rain at times, so we'll also watch out for the possibility of flash flooding. Don't forget that damaging wind gusts can occur later on today into tonight, even outside of actual thunderstorm activity. That's it for now. For ArcfieldWeather.com, I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.